I'm from Atlanta. I was born in East Point. My parents, they were married when they had me, but we moved down to Henry County, so McDonough, Georgia, and then they split, and my dad moved back to the Southwest Atlanta area, which Southwest Atlanta directly, but East Point is right there. And also been a music executive for the past 13 years. A full advocate. They know I'm big on community. I'm big on education, like you said. And I always knew after music, politics was going to be my next pivot. I'm a music executive. That's what I do. Okay. But my mom's a teacher, or still is a teacher. My wife is a teacher. Okay. And my curiosity around education, and especially after the pandemic, and I have children as well. I have I've heard about all the literacy rates going down and our, our proficiency rate. So I said, let me see myself. I want to get a firsthand account. Okay. So I started substituting in APS and Clayton County. So just to get all my social media, everything anybody can find out about me is still open and available. And luckily for me, I've had a reputation that I can stand on proudly. Been in tune. I haven't been the most in tune, but I have an uncle, Larry Dingle. He passed 2 years ago, but his name is actually on the committee room of City Council. He was the municipal clerk for almost 20, 30 years through Maynard, through Bill Campbell, Shirley Frank, and Andrew Young, et cetera. We're in tune. It's easy to talk to them. Like, even I'm learning on the campaign trail, they know all the candidates, they know all the information, they know what they need to hear, but I'm doing it for the people who don't necessarily know what exactly goes on. And with me, they can say they know me. Education is always a thing for me. That's a citywide issue, but the only high school we have is Thero, but there's other elementary schools like Deerwood and Fickett. But education is one of my big platforms, and literacy specifically. Also, keeping the community safe. I always say it's hard to serve a community you can't keep safe. Bringing more infrastructure and economic development to the area. I feel like when Atlanta is such an international city that when we have all these big events, like we got the Super Bowl coming, we got the World Cup coming, MLS All-Stars coming, Major League Baseball, I say MLS, excuse me, MLB All-Stars coming. But when these international events or national events come to the city, I don't feel like people make sure they stop by Southwest Atlanta. They should be coming to Southwest Atlanta too. We have a lot of things to offer, and several mayors still live in the area. Like Keith Bottom still lives there. Shirley Franklin still lives there. They understand the value and the preciousness that Southwest Atlanta. And to come to Southwest Atlanta, stop by Greenbrier Mall, stop by our restaurant, stop by other businesses that we have. But the community just wants there to be an even flow of traffic to where the businesses can thrive and the people who live there aren't inconvenienced. He knew that when Atlanta was struggling financially, economically, he had his relationships through being an ambassador to reach out internationally. That's what helped make Atlanta an international city. So for me, build in Southwest Atlanta where we have more jobs and people who stay in Southwest Atlanta don't necessarily have to leave it. And the people who want to have fun, like have a bowling alley, maybe a movie theater and all these other things, they can come and experience Southwest Atlanta. And the people, they're saying that their cars are getting broken into. Where are the police? We need more patrols. We need more bodies in the area this certain times of night. So when you bring up cop city or cop police presence, older folks are almost demanding it. But then when you talk to younger folks, they are saying that we don't need to be over police. The more we're in community with each other, the more we talk to each other, the more we're aware of each other, the less you're less to break in somebody's car if you know them. The art of negotiation. Can I fight on behalf of the people to get these people to say, hey, this may be a little bit expensive, but the investment that you're making here, you'll make tenfold. I respect everybody. So seeing people that look like us that are from our side of town, that's always just made me realize like what's possible. I'm trying to let people know is you can hold me accountable of Atlanta no longer being a black city. My district is 96% black. I tell people like Toni Morrison is just as great with words as Jay-Z. Like Octavia Butler is just as incredible at storytelling as Kendrick Lamar.
Hello, welcome to What Talent Podcast. This is your girl, Lady J, and I'm here with a special guest. We have Stevo Dingle, a respected music manager, a former educator based in Atlanta, Georgia, now running for city councilman in District 11. Attended Clark Atlanta University from 2008 to 2012. He began his career in classroom where he developed a deep passion for youth development and literacy and have a big following on TikTok. As a former teacher, he strongly advocates for early educating and early reading, equality, and foundation and community growth. How you doing?
I am well. I'm well. Happy to be here. Appreciate you having me.
Thank you for coming out. I know it was like a little weird me hitting you up on TikTok. Like, who is this?
I accept any way it comes, whether it be email, TikTok direct message, Instagram, however it comes, I read them all. So I appreciate you.
Okay, now tell us a little bit about yourself and why you decided to run for city councilman.
Yeah, I'm Steven Dingle. Everybody knows me as Stevo casually, but on the ballot, remember Steven Dingle. But I'm from Atlanta. I was born in East Point. My parents, they were married when they had me, but we moved down to Henry County, so McDonough, Georgia, and then they split, and my dad moved back to the Southwest Atlanta area, which Southwest Atlanta directly, but East Point is right there.
Okay.
So since 2003, I've been back and forth between McDonough, Georgia, and Southwest Atlanta. And then in 2008, when I attended Clark Atlanta University, I've been planted in Southwest Atlanta ever since. But like you said, I've been in the classroom teaching. I've coached softball, and also been a music executive for the past 13 years. So,
okay.
Yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
So what made you want to get into politics?
Yeah, everybody knows me as like an advocate for Atlanta. Like, no matter when you know me, from middle school, high school, to college, to in the music business as a teacher, et cetera, I'm just a full advocate. They know I'm big on community. I'm big on education, like you said. And I always knew after music, politics was going to be my next pivot. I was going to wait until 40. That just was an age for me where I said I could just let go of the music. I wanted to win a Grammy. I haven't won a Grammy yet, but I was like, there's just some things I want to accomplish in the entertainment industry. But my councilwoman, who's currently serving, Marcy Collier Overstreet, she's going for city council president. So I'm 35 years old now, and when she's going for bigger goals, I was like, no time like the present, so I decided to jump in 4 years early.
Okay. So you were saying that you did teaching. How long was you teaching for?
It was a short stint. I've only substituted. So like I said, I'm a music executive. That's what I do.
Okay.
But my mom's a teacher, or still is a teacher. My wife is a teacher.
Okay.
And my curiosity around education, and especially after the pandemic, and I have children as well. I have 3 children. My daughter's 17. My wife had a son previous of us of 10, and then we have a son together that's 2.
Okay.
So we have 3 kids. So just having kids, having a wife and mother who's in education, and also since the pandemic, I've heard about all the literacy rates going down and our our proficiency rate. So I said, let me see myself. I want to get a firsthand account. Okay. So I started substituting in APS and Clayton County. So just to get a firsthand account. And I've dealt with we call it general education, and I've also dealt with DES as well. So I've had several realms of the education.
Okay, I graduated from a Clayton County school.
Okay, where'd you go? If you don't mind me asking.
Forest Park High School.
Forest Park. Okay, that's where for the Steelers, Hines Ward.
Yeah, Hines Ward, and then the new one, Sanaya Fagan, that played for the LA Sparks now.
Yep.
I went viral for saying the Clayton County system, then it failed us. So I just want you to know that.
I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to say, when you're right, you ain't wrong.
Okay. See? All right. He said enough. That's all you need to say.
Hey.
So when you get into politics, what exactly you need to, like, how do you got to clean your image up if you're not, already clean?
I mean, that's one thing I'm learning. When I came in, I'm myself. Like, all my social media, everything anybody can find out about me is still open and available. And luckily for me, I've had a reputation that I can stand on proudly. If there's anything anybody wants to question me about, I can answer. But I don't really think outside of normal things, parking tickets and speeding tickets, like something small like that, there's nothing really anybody can say that I'm not able to serve by. If they looked at my background, nobody would say, I don't think he's equipped or able to serve the people based on what he's been through or what he's experienced or any trouble. So I haven't had to clean up anything. If anything, I just have to wear more suits, right. Which isn't an issue, but that's really the only thing that I have to clean up.
Okay. Do you have any personal experience that made you say, I want to gravitate and let me help my community and I'm going to join the city council? Yeah.
In music and being from here, you just operate in real life and you see people's needs that may not have that, I don't want to say interest, but they may not have the information to know what exactly city government or any government does.
Right.
So for me, I've kind of always been in tune. I haven't been the most in tune, but I have an uncle, Larry Dingle. He passed 2 years ago, but his name is actually on the committee room of city council. And he was the municipal clerk for almost 20, 30 years through Maynard, through Bill Campbell, Shirley Franklin, Andrew Young, et cetera.
Okay.
And so I've always had that close-knit relationship to the city and in government. So for me, it was, as much as I'm in the community myself, it was just making sure that my community, the city itself, but especially my friends and family who don't necessarily know what government does, I'm really running for those people, because the people who are in tune, it's easy to talk to them. Like, even I'm learning on the campaign trail, they know all the candidates, they know all the information, they know what they need to hear, but I'm doing it for the people who don't necessarily know what exactly goes on. And with me, they can say they know me. And then I'm building more interest in that realm. And that way I can serve the entire city, the people who may not be in tune and the people who are. And I think that's an advantage that I have as a candidate, to where I'm really in front of people who may not be as in tune as those who are.
Right, because, sometimes we don't pay attention to a lot of politics. And you're doing it, actually you getting through TikTok, you on there and you getting in their face because everybody always got their phone in their hand.
Right.
But what are some of the biggest challenges you feel like District 11 is having right now?
Education is always a thing for me. That's a citywide issue, but the only high school we have is Sterile, but there's other elementary schools like Deerwood and Thicket. But education is one of my big platforms, and literacy specifically. That's one thing. Me and my wife are avid readers. All of our children's rooms have books in them, their own personal libraries. So just making sure that we educate our children so they can be productive citizens of society. Also, keeping the community safe. I always say it's hard to serve a community you can't keep safe. That's number two. And number three is bringing more infrastructure and economic development to the area. I feel like when Atlanta is such an international city that when we have all these big events, like we got the Super Bowl coming, we got the World Cup coming, MLS All-Stars coming, Major League Baseball, I say MLS, excuse me, MLB All-Stars coming. But when these international events or national events come to the city, I don't feel like people make sure they stop by Southwest Atlanta. You're in Buckhead, you're in Midtown, you're in downtown, but they should be coming to Southwest Atlanta too. We have a lot of things to offer, and people know historically the value that Southwest Atlanta has brought to the city. Several mayors still live in the area. Like Keisha Lance Bottom still lives there. Shirley Franklin still lives there. I think Kasim is around the area, but don't quote me on that. But so they understand the value and the preciousness that Southwest Atlanta has, but it's getting everybody else to know that looks at Atlanta as the important city we are nationally and internationally. It's understanding that this city wouldn't be what it is without Southwest Atlanta. So I'm trying to get more people who, when they travel in and also in the city, to come to Southwest Atlanta, stop by Greenbrier Mall, stop by our restaurant, stop by other businesses that we have. Like, there's something to see here. There's something special here. So that's a main thing for me, is bringing more economic development infrastructure to the side of the town too.
So how do you plan on, bringing people here if, they got gentrification going on, you got, all this stuff that's going on in West Atlanta? How you going to handle that? Well,
not saying that we're not witnessing some maybe versions of early gentrification. Like Cascade Road is a big thing in my district. The Cascade Road project, it's been worked on for several years, and all the people who live on that road and all the businesses are complaining. They just wanted to get it done. And there's been some tension with the community and the city about like the bike lanes they're adding, the widening of the sidewalks, and the roads being a little thinner. Okay. The city says that it's safe, and they're encouraging people to slow down on that road, but the community just wants there to be an even flow of traffic to where the businesses can thrive and the people who live there aren't inconvenienced. But with that being said, because your question was, how do you attract people down there? Yeah. And I learned this from Andrew Young, who was, of course, the ambassador, I forgot, for Jimmy Carter, the president, because, we call him Ambassador Young, but he was also a mayor, that he knew that when Atlanta was struggling financially, economically, he had his relationships through being an ambassador to reach out internationally. That's what helped make Atlanta an international city. So for me, maybe not on the level of Andrew Young, but I have relationships in the private sector where it comes to getting different business owners and business developers to build in Southwest Atlanta where we have more jobs, and people who stay in Southwest Atlanta don't necessarily have to leave it. And the people who want to have fun, like have a bowling alley, maybe a movie theater, and all these other things, they can come and experience Southwest Atlanta. And the people who live here can go to school here, work here, and be entertained in their side of town. So that's why I just plan on building with the private sector to bring more development to the side of town as well.
So I saw that you said that you wanted to you wanted people to feel comfortable enough and have, I guess, police involvement with everyone. How are you going to get people to trust the police if that's not, what we on right now?
Yeah, the police is here. So let's be like, there's nothing I can do about it. The police is here. They are a department of city government, so they're going to be here. So you have to work with them. But I tell the different generations have different approaches to it. So when you talk to older people, when I say older people, you could even say really go as young as 40 plus, but especially our seniors, 50 plus especially. They are like, when I attend NPU meetings, which are neighborhood planning units, so every part of the city has specific groups of neighborhoods that make up a neighborhood planning unit. So if you attend those monthly meetings, every department from the city is present, And then the constituents of that, and even if you don't live in that MPU, you can attend them via Zoom and listen to every department talk about what each MPU is going through. So the police will be on, always a representation from the police. They'll tell you what's going on in that specific area. And you hear, and it's always older folks. I'm oftentimes, no matter which MPU meeting I attend, I'm the youngest person there. At least visually, that's what I can tell. But the older people are always concerned about police presence. They're saying that their cars are getting broken into. Where are the police? We need more patrols. We need more bodies in the area this certain times of night. So when you bring up cop city or cop police presence, older folks are almost demanding it. But then when you talk to younger folks, they are saying that we don't need to be over policed. We don't want the police presence because we can govern ourselves. And I'm fine with that too. So my answer is, the more we're in community with each other, the more we talk to each other, the more we're aware of each other, the less you're less to break in somebody's car if you know them. If you know your auntie staying right there, or the candy lady staying right there, or somebody you went to school with is staying right there, you're not going to break in their car because you have to wake up and see them the next morning. So one thing I'm doing on the campaign trail is trying to make sure I meet every single person and get to know everyone. So that way when I introduce or meet you or meet someone else, I say, oh, you know Miss Sally down the street? Do you know Mr. Johnson who owns this business? And that way that is self-governance. So where the police is going to be here anyway, everybody wins. The older people, the cars won't get broken into because we all know each other and don't want to do it. And the kids, there won't be over-policing because we can self-govern ourselves because we have that mutual respect and love for each other.
Now, I know you was talking about bringing small businesses over, but, you know, some areas are more expensive as far as tax-wise or whatnot. How do you plan on, you know, budgeting all that and for it to bring in more people? Because what if they say, let me go out farther enough because it's cheaper to go there versus to be down there closer to Greenbrier or Cascade or whatnot. So how you plan on navigating that?
Hey, that's just the art of negotiation. Like, as city council, we control the budget. Well, I'm saying we because hopefully I am elected.
Right.
But as city council, they control the budget. So all the money that's spent on behalf of the city council determines what department gets what. So even with that, as private developers are coming or will come, I have to determine or get with developers and making sure, you know, everything is met with the permits and stuff like that. And it's the art of negotiation. Can I fight on behalf of the people to get these people to say, hey, this may be a little bit expensive, but the investment that you're making here, you'll make tenfold because the people are demanding it. The people, when I was just at SWAT's Day on Saturday on Camden Road, I literally was talking to someone. They were like, can we get a bowling alley down here? That was something like, that's what they want. It doesn't make sense that we have to go, and no, Metro Lanes is going on Cleveland Avenue, so you probably have to go to Midtown or something, or Clayton County to get to a bowling alley, and that's unacceptable. People, not even just kids, people want to have fun here. They want to be able to get somewhere that's quick and not far. Of course, Atlanta is a car city, so to be able to walk is a little bit unreasonable, but even if it's just a 3, 4, 5 minute car ride, that's fine. So bringing things that bring joy to the neighborhood and the build community, people want that, and they want it on their side of town. So if it's a little bit more expensive with the developers, it's just up to me to get them to see that their investment will be worth it. Right.
So as a African-American Black man, how important is being in politics to you?
Being from Atlanta is very important. It's almost embedded in our DNA, and that's a part of the influence that what made me want to run too. Like I said, my uncle Larry Dingle being municipal clerk and one of the top lawyers in Atlanta history. Of course, Maynard and all the history of Black mayors since Maynard, but even people who have been city council person in our district, from Mr. Maddox to Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms to Council Member Marcy Collier Overstreet. I respect everybody. So seeing people that look like us that are from our side of town, that's always just made me realize like what's possible. It's never been a second guess that we can't do or I can't do when I've seen it time and time again. So for me, the representation that Atlanta has always provided is what's let me know what's possible.
How do you plan on getting, like, whenever you decide to make a decision, how do you plan on, and you're in office already, involving the community in your decision making? How do you plan on doing that?
Yeah, my campaign is a prime example of how I plan to maneuver once I'm elected. I'm not hard to find. You see how easy it was to contact me to get here. I'm outside every day. And I know the kids say that often, I'm outside, but literally the whole point I'm trying to let people know is you can hold me accountable. If I'm walking around Greenbrier Mall, if I'm at JJ's Rich Shack, if I'm at the Barrio ATL, if like wherever I am, Camp Creek Parkway, I'm everywhere. I want people to see me out and stop me and say, hey, I saw you in that city council meeting the other day. I didn't really appreciate what you said. Or I saw you and I love what you said about this. I want to be held accountable like that. And I feel like a lot of people, and I'm learning on the campaign trail, a lot of people don't even know who their council person is. So again, for me to be in front of them as a candidate is already just like, oh, and I've done a lot of social media. People will stop me just like I was at SWAT's Day. You're running for something. I saw you somewhere, and I'm like, I let them talk to sit. I'm like, where'd you see me? Where did I have my stickers in my pocket? I'm like, Stevo Dingle running for Atlanta City Council. So I'm learning myself, like, again, how we started off, a lot of people just aren't in tune. And when they don't see their everyday lives, they don't see how government works or who's in leadership positions. So for them to even see me as a candidate, it means something to them, because it's like, whoa, what are you doing here? Right. So for me, being able to see me, touch me, be accessible, that's a major thing for me. And of course, when I'm elected and get the office, I'll probably I'll have some office hours that are dedicated to seeing people outside of coming to a city council meeting. So, you send an email and lock in the time, and we can talk, in a more private setting as well. But yeah, I'm definitely outside of where you can find me, of course, and I want to be so accessible that when people ask who's your council person, if you don't know, you're like, you've never seen Stevo Dingle? What? Right. He's always, that's how I want the feeling to be.
Now, how can Black leadership help in Black communities, and how is your approach different than anyone else's approach?
Yeah. So my district, I know everybody's probably seen the reports of Atlanta no longer being a Black city. My district is 96% Black. So that's what Southwest Atlanta, District 11 is a hot seat, because it's very reminiscent of what people consider Atlanta to be, being that Black, being that progressive and historic at the same time. But for me, how am I different is exactly what I said. Like, on my campaign trail, I'm knocking doors, I'm attending, the formal events, the political events and all that, doing media, but also a lot of places I've been the only candidate there. And that just tells me, and the political advice I've gotten, it's a lot of, don't waste your time with these kind of folks. Don't waste your time with the young folks. Don't waste your times at neighborhood days. Like, and I get it. They're trying to advise me how to win, and I want to win. I think I'm the best candidate. Don't get me wrong. But also, I want my campaign to be evidence of what kind of leader I'll be once I'm elected. So for me, being at these places, talking to the youth, focusing on the youth, that is, and even like dressing how I dress, like I wear Atlanta hats every day, fitted hats. If I'm dressing casually, I rep my city like no other. But even that, people, you got to dress up more and more and more. And I'm just like, I'm going to dress up. I believe in decorum. And I don't play about time. I was really 30 minutes out there. I called you 10 minutes before I was supposed to be here, but I've been out there for 30 minutes just because I'd rather be somewhere where I'm supposed to be and not have anybody wait on me. So for me, I just want to be present in front of every single constituent of District 11. I don't want a single person to say they didn't meet me, they didn't talk to me. And of course, I want everybody to vote that's eligible to vote, 18 and not a felon, et cetera. But people telling me, don't waste your time with these people, they don't vote. If you win, they're still the people you have to serve. Yeah. So it's not fair to them that you didn't talk to them because you feel like they don't vote. Yeah. And I just don't believe in that. So for me, it's being in front of every single person, regardless of your voter status, your encouragement to vote. Because even I was out, I want to keep folks in SWAT Day because it just happened. Yeah. I'm out there passing out stickers, introducing myself. Everybody didn't take my sticker. Everybody wasn't like, it was love out there. Nobody was disrespectful. But like, that's just, at the end of the day, when I win, they can still say, that was the guy that was out there at SWAT Day. And that's really important to me.
I think they're not used to, I guess, people on a campaign tour actually being out there with them.
Correct.
So they was kind of like, it's kind of like a adjustment.
That's definitely it.
So I hear you saying like education is very important to you. What if you're around a whole bunch of young kids that is not so much driven in education? How do you plan on to grab those type of kids? Because you say you want to get to everybody. How do you plan on grabbing those kids' attention? Because they are your future, and those are the people you're going to end up catering to. So how you plan on getting to them? Yeah.
The thing about education, in my opinion, is when I say you got to try to make it cool, I don't mean try too hard. A lot of times people just want to be talked to. Like, it's really that simple. And I feel like when people look at perception, or they look at where maybe kids are hanging out or whatever, they just automatically take that as like, you don't care, and they move on. Like, I'm just gonna focus on the kids that are obviously care about their future, and we should care about those kids who care about the future. But it's just, to me, it's just talking. And then, like, when I talk about books to kids who don't read, or just anybody in general, I tell people, like, Toni Morrison is just as great with words as Jay-Z. Like, Octavia Butler is just as incredible at storytelling as Kendrick Lamar. And you have these conversations where you might have and you throw in, man, that movie reminded me of Kendrick by Octavia Butler. And they're like, what's Kendrick? And you tell me, man, this is an incredible book by Octavia Butler. You should read. And even if they don't read the whole thing, they may go home and look it up. So for me, it's just those things in passing to where I may not be able to save you. I'm not Superman. But if I can pull over and I see these group of kids or we're shooting basketball and we're talking, I may be able to say something in passing. They just be like, hey, did y'all go to that book? Y'all know there's a book fair going on? Whatever. It's, you just throw things in there that makes it attractive. And then the fact that I operate the way I operate, it opens the door a little more. The fact that like I'm not coming from a like looking down on them. It's just like, I see you. I'm right here with you. I like the things you like. I can talk the way you talk. I do talk the way you talk. I live what you live. But so that exchange makes it a little bit more open to where it's not trying to tell them what to do. It's just like, look what I'm interested in. And it's like, it's cool. It's like, dang, you read? Like, what you be reading? Like, and we can have a conversation. This is what I'm reading. This is what, come over to, you can loan a book. I mean, I love my books, but, you know, bring it back. But you can come, I don't care. I really don't care if you come to my house and look through the library, take one, and then let me know. Take however long you need. Let's talk about it, whatever. So I just try to be an open book with everybody.
Okay, so when it comes down to you doing politics and then you was a music producer?
Music
Executive. What exactly did you pull from each one of them to make you who you are today? Yeah,
and I kind of got to take it back to college too. I was a sociology major. So dealing with people, and I'm naturally inquisitive, hence why I read a lot. But I'm a people watcher. Like I sit back and just watch and see how people behave. And then, like I said, studying in college and also being an avid reader. And then in the music business, just dealing with people firsthand, from trying to garner fans. Like people always ask me, because I work with producers, songwriters, and artists. They always ask me, what's the difference between working with an artist and a producer or songwriter? And I say the difference is with the artist is I have to get as many people as possible to like you to sell records. With the producer, I just have to get the right people to like you. And that's just the artist or A&R or a manager to get you in the room with the talent so you can make the music for the talent. So, but both of those approaches help with this campaign in politics, because I have to learn to maneuver through rooms and talk a different kind of way. Like the motive is to serve the people. That motive does not change, but the conversation may change when I'm dealing with an 18-year-old senior about to graduate from high school versus a senior who's seen it all, done it all, and they may have more experience than me being 70 and I'm 35. But that conversation looks different. So me being in music, I've dealt with that age difference, whether you're working with a client that's 16 or whether you're talking to the head of a label who sold 100 million records and they're 50, and you have to pitch to them why your client deserves this opportunity and all that, or why they should be signed and all that. So the experience of talking with people has definitely prepared me to talk with people on the campaign trails.
Okay. And you went to Clark, Atlanta.
You the illustrious.
At Clark, Atlanta, who there was like your driving force to make you do the music side? Because you said you left, you didn't graduate. So who decided, or what happened for you to go to the music side versus finishing out?
Stevo Dingle here, your future Atlanta City Councilman of District 11, and you're watching What Talent Podcast. So I always compare my career or my life to Slumdog Millionaire, the movie. I don't know if you've seen it.
I've seen it.
Okay, you've seen it, yeah. So you know that was the movie just basically about an Indian guy who ends up on what was the show? How to Become a Millionaire, How to Be a Millionaire, which was a game. You know, if youthful people watch this, they're like, what is that? But it's basically a show where a guy just asks you multiple choice questions, and it's really for smart people. And you answer 10 questions, and like it was like you win $10, $50, $100, $50,000, $100,000, and then your final question you win $1 million. But in that movie, he just happens to end up on the show, and his life experiences got him every answer rather than being really smart. So for my life, it wasn't like I've always dreamed of being a music executive or dreamed of being a politician. It's just my life, the way I've lived, has prepared me indirectly for these things. So attending Clark Atlanta University, I met some people, and my friend Corey Davis just passed. He had a platform called Greenmount Park, and him and Aware. And my friend Noah, one of my best friends, introduced me to them, and I was right on Tumblr. You know, Tumblr was big back in the day, social media. So I was writing like album reviews, and he was like, you should meet these Greenmount guys. They have a blog, and this is the big blog era with J. Cole, Drake, and you know, you got Two Dope Boys and Smoking Section, all these big blogs. So I was like, Atlanta, I don't know Atlanta have a blog. So when I met them, they were just like, yeah, you can just come post music for us. And this is while I'm in college, 2010, 11 time. And I was like, okay, cool. So I used that and being from here to kind of move around and say, hey, you're dope. I like your music. Go to shows, different things around campus, and say, hey, I work for this blog. I would love to post your music. And I feel like that was a different approach, because when you think about the blog era, you never really saw the blog people outside. Like, it was just, you send your stuff to the blogs. Like, that's all you knew. So I thought that was an advantage. The fact that you can see the person who would post your music. So from that point, I ended up coming across my first artist, Milo Smith, who went to Georgia State. And when I found her, I said, look, I've never managed anybody. I've never done this before. I blow off this Greenmount Park. I'm from here. I got a lot of relationships. I go to Clark. Let's work. She said, let me take some time to think about it. She called me back a day later and was like, let's rock.
Okay.
And from that was 2011 October. And from there, we missed A3C because it was October too, but it was earlier. But I remember that March 2012, we got like 8 South by Southwest shows in Austin, Texas.
Okay.
And that's where that trip alone got me so much relationships from the business. Like, it's people who were heads of A&Rs and major labels that like were interns when they were interested in Milo. So I always thank her for my career, because even though she didn't get signed, I built so many relationships from working with her. And I said that 2012, that summer, I was done with school. And then I managed OG Macko a year or so later. Rest in peace to OG Macko. And that's when we signed a QC. And it took off. So that was the timeline of school, managing Milo, the career looking promising, like, hey, this music thing is pretty good. And then OG Macko was like the rocket out of here.
Now, how has your wife been supportive in your everyday movement?
Oh, The Rock. We've only been married 2 years, but we've been together for a while. But anybody being able to deal with me and the way I move around, like, I get up in the morning, like a lot of moves I don't plan. Like, you set a schedule and then you wake up and it's like you check Instagram, you check social media, or people call you, hey, you know this going on today? Okay. And the fact that she's always been there understanding my randomness, especially with us having children, and she's never complained. I'm sure she gets annoyed. That's relationships.
Yeah.
But the fact that I'm able to move how I do and do all the things I do, and her to be right there is just, trust me, I am extremely grateful. And it's a reason why I married her. So no, she is, when you say she's a rock, that is a prime definition. I just hope that I am returning the favor. Maybe not in the exact same way, but when I come home, hopefully there's some peace that I offer her just as much as she offers me peace when I know I'm understanding, trying to build a better future for our family and Atlanta overall. But yeah, I couldn't do this without her for sure.
What are some of the misconceptions about politics?
The fact that I'm not elected yet, I don't want to speak too early, but because we've all heard rumors about certain things, and it's been reported, but like, corruption and stuff like that. But me being a candidate, I haven't experienced anything like that, and I hope to never experience even when I'm elected. But I don't know, on the campaign trail, like I said, I'm really just doing it my way. So it's like I'm not, the worst thing I've experienced is the people telling me to dress up all the time. And I mean, my answer is no. But like when I do interviews, if I'm on a panel, if I'm speaking, like if it's my event, like I'm speaking to something or I'm holding a press conference, I'm always going to be dressed for the occasion. But like I said, if I'm out on a Saturday with my family, I'm going to be dressed casual. So that's the worst thing. I wish I had some more interesting misconceptions, but for me, the advice I'm getting, like how people are saying, don't talk to these folks, don't waste your time. That's something that like, I'm not surprised to hear, but just how vocal people are about it. They're just like, if I talk to anybody who's won the office or ran, they just always be like, hey, Steven, I'm just going to tell you, don't waste your time talking to no 25-year-olds. Like,
why not?
The fact that they're so open about it, it's not a secret, because they say they don't vote. They say they don't care. So like, they're like, you go talk to, they're like, don't talk to anybody under 50. Because you're wasting your time. And now I understand their perspective. I get what they're saying. If nobody's going to go to the booth and vote for you, because that's all this game is. People talk about money, attention. It matters who's going to go in there and vote for you. And they're saying that you can't make anybody vote for you. So go tell them you're not going to walk in that booth and convince them, because you know they're going to walk in that booth. So
do you feel like because they don't have like a current Malcolm X or Martin Luther King, people are not into politics too much, or we don't have nobody to really lead us in a way? Do you feel like, that could play a part in like the kids not really paying attention?
I don't think it's because of like no Martin, no Malcolm or something like that. They don't know what these positions do. And I think that's the misconception, is they just don't understand. Why should I know my city councilman? Like, for what? Like, their everyday material conditions, they don't get the connection. So they're like, why should I be concerned when I'm hungry now? Like, are they going to feed me?
Right.
Like, that's like, are they going to give me a ride to work when I don't have the gas money or the MARTA pass? Like, these are questions that they don't, like, why? I got to eat today. And I understand that, but it's just understanding the value and what they can do for you. And I think they would have some more interest towards city government and these positions of power.
So, what do you plan on doing, like, to interact the schools? Because we are trying to make sure these kids are getting educated.
Yeah.
What are your plans on getting involved? Because I don't think that's really your bracket or whatnot.
Right, because there is a school board. Yeah, so I'm not on the school board.
How you going to get them involved with the community? Because I feel like if you get the school involved with the community and then you get the community with the school, everything can kind of go together. Like, I was just thinking, like, when you was talking about having the community come together with the police, I was just thinking about, like, little basketball games, you know, police officers versus some kids or high school team or whatever, Thorough or whatever the school is. So how you plan on getting them, the school system together?
Yeah, it's working with the school board, but also going into the schools. Like, I can't wait for school to get back, because even though I announced my campaign towards the end, I was helping out with schools. Everybody just got busy towards the end of the year, so it was hard to really get ingrained. But I just plan on everybody, like I said, should know me, from the parents to the teachers. Even the teachers don't live in the district, but they work in the district, and they're adding value to our community. It's just making sure that we and having higher demands. Like, what I've witnessed from the school system, and I'm saying this is across the state,
right?
It's just the demands aren't high because the expectations are that they won't meet them. So we'll just, just the kids are here. That's good. Yeah. Let's just get them through. But I think we just, the school system just needs to be flipped on its head, in my opinion. And I will do what I can as a city council member to help with that. Like I said, there's school board, administrators, superintendents, but I am going to work with them because I have children that are all school age. Like I said, my daughter's about to graduate next year. I got a 10-year-old son coming and a 2-year-old coming. So I actively need to have these questions answered because I know as a parent, my demands are here. So I want the school to make sure that we're on the same page and figure out how do we lift those students who may be struggling, but also raising demands for everybody to make sure that we're graduating the best students in the country.
Right.
I want to remain competitive across the country and the world. Right. I don't just want to, I'm just going to keep it real and tell the truth. We've had the highest graduation rate in Atlanta's history recently. Okay. But our proficiency rates are extremely low. Okay. So what does it mean to graduate kids if we're graduating kids that aren't really entering the world with the prime education we know they all should have? And that's the teachers, I'm a teacher. My wife's a teacher. My mom's a teacher. I know they're doing what they can. So, but as a community, from superintendent to city council members to the school board, we all just need to raise the bar some of what we do and our expectations, and let's just meet it and exceed them. And that just comes with a conversation and really implementing the ideas that we all come with, and everybody being in community with each other and figuring it out. Like, really figuring it out. Like, if we hurt each other's feelings, so what? Like, it's about these kids and creating a better society for everybody. So
I had went to Change Church. You heard of Change Church by
Is it in Clay County?
It's in Decatur.
Okay.
They got one in Decatur and they got one in Gwinnett.
Okay.
Too.
But I think my friends go. I've seen it online more than anything. But.
So they did like a community baby shower. And I thought that was cool. Like, they didn't have to pay.
Anybody who had a baby.
They didn't have to pay for something, like stuff like that. You know, I know once you get it in budgeting and figuring out stuff, that's a way you could bring the community in together, like start doing events like that. And then, you got to get the community centers together. Yeah. And then, it's just small steps by steps. How many years do you supposed to be in the
4?
4?
Yeah, your term is 4. Yeah.
So you can only do 2, or you can do more than 2?
Oh, no. City council, you can do as many. Like I said, the Mr. Maddox, I think his name was Jim Maddox, but Mr. Maddox, he was a city council person for like 32 years. And that's why this district hasn't known many city council members. It's been Jim Maddox, Keisha Lansbottom, Marcy Overstreet, and now somebody new with her. So, like, that's been it for the past, 60 years? Almost, maybe 50 years. So it's been 3-4 people. Ooh. So, yeah, this district hasn't had a lot of change. So.
Yeah, so the change need to come then. Right. So why should the people of District 11 trust you?
Yeah, I'm reliable. I love everyone. That I can't emphasize that enough. And that's what I didn't need to learn that on the campaign trail. But like I said, these conversations I'm having where people are just trying to get me to focus on one group or these select groups, I just refuse. I know how much it means for people to see me in the places they see me and talk to me about the things they want to talk about. I know it means a lot because I'm hearing these reactions from the people, and even online, like, you may not be able to touch every single person, even though that's my goal. But digitally, you can reach the world.
Right.
So people even, the fact that they've never seen their council person in these places are telling me I'm doing the right thing. Because if I'm reaching them and they've never seen their council member or any person in government outside of the president or the governor, that means I'm doing something right. So for me, the fact that I'm hitting every crevice, I'm talking to every single person, child, adult, senior, etc., that should show them just how passionate I am about serving the city. And again, the more people I know, the more people are going to hold me accountable. I'm not hiding from anyone. Anyone can come talk to me. If you see a post I made on social media, if you see this interview you didn't like something I said, you can find me. Tell me, I didn't like that. Tell me, I love that. Let's work together to figure this out. So for me, I feel like I'm the only candidate that's hitting the crevice of every part of District 11, whether it be online, small businesses, big industry, neighbors, whatever it is, I'm every place. And for me to talk to everyone like that, that just shows how ready I am for the position.
I will say this. I know they're giving you advice to not talk to the younger folks. I think you should talk to the younger folks because they need an understanding of what's going on. And sometimes when you're young, you're not thinking about your future too much. You're just thinking about what's going on right now, their life right now.
Yeah.
And so I advise you, like, once you get a chance, get a foot in the door, once you finally, get in there, talk to the youth and help them get an understanding of exactly what you do, or possibly if there's something what they might like to do. But for the people to find you or wherever you're going to be, can you let everybody know where exactly they can find you, your Instagram, TikTok, all the above?
Yeah, absolutely. So Stevo Dingle is my name. You Google the name Stevo Dingle in Atlanta, I'm going to come up. But Dingle for Atlanta is the campaign. So if you look up Dingle for Atlanta on Instagram, Dingle for Atlanta on TikTok, Steven Dingle for Atlanta on Facebook, and Dingle for Atlanta on YouTube, and website Dingle for Atlanta. So really, if you Google Steven Dingle or Steven Dingle from Atlanta, everything will come up. So you can find me just that easy.
Well, thank you for coming out. I appreciate you. I hope you win.
Thank you.
I hope you win. When is the election date?
So early voting is October 14th through the 31st, and then November 4th is election day. So you can vote those 2 weeks, last 2 weeks of October, and then the last time you can vote is November 4th.
Okay. Well, you heard it from him. I'd like to thank y'all for watching. This is your girl, Lady J, on Peace to You.
Hello, Atlanta, Georgia. Steven Dingle here, your future Atlanta City Councilman of District 11. This year, you can vote in this election, and on October 14th through October 31st, that's early voting, and on November 4th, that is actual election day. So make sure when you go in the voting booth and you look on the ballot, look for Steven Dingle, and I'll be right there. God bless you all.